You good, Fred?
Good. Hang on. I gave you hope. Don't worry about it.
Oh, good morning, Beth. Yes. Father in heaven, we thank you this morning, Father, for all that you have done for us, Father. We thank you for your never-ending grace and mercy, Father. Touch each and every one of us that we may enter into your house today, Father, with praise and worship to you and only to you. We thank you, lift you, we love you. It's in the name of Jesus that we pray. Amen. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Rowlett Friendship Baptist Church for real. Real Smith.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, man.
Good morning, man.
Y'all shiny this morning?
Huh?
Y'all shiny this morning?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, spit shine and stuff.
Thank you.
You feeling good this morning? Do you feel as good as you look?
I feel pretty good. I mean, it's just a blessing just to get up.
Just to get up, man, and be here.
I feel blessed.
Good. Pastor?
Morning, Edison.
Good morning.
Thank you for delivering this stuff yesterday.
Ooh, Pastor. Ooh, I done lost my help. We'll have to talk about that later.
No, because usually when I get here, I mean, there's no set time we go out. So when I show up, it's just usually. So I was like, okay, well, I know they got some stuff going on. So this one, I'll get there. And I got here by, 10:15? You're already gone.
Yeah, we left about 10:05. But see, it's a struggle.
So you're in a hurry.
No. It's a struggle for me to get my helper on Sunday mornings. I mean, on that Saturday morning.
Well, you tell Mama Bear I said I'm sorry, but I was running a little bit late.
It may work a little better if you told.
I'll deliver that. But I do want to say something before we kick off the podcast.
Uh-huh.
I said something last week, and other churches, other churches might think I was kind of being direct with them. I said that our goal is to help those who are lost find Jesus.
Right.
And if you don't know us talking about our individual and our sins, then it's not the church for you. And some people outside of Rowlett Friendship may take that the wrong way.
Right.
And what I was trying to say is that we all have stuff. We all have stuff in our closet. And means podcasts, we also talk about it, that we have our own sin. We have our twins, our triplets, and our quadruplets. Mm-hmm. And so that means we struggle with our own stuff. Too often in church, we hide behind the fact that we at church. And we think that because we're at church, we are perfect. And there's a lot of churches that walks around here. Me and Josh had this deep conversation yesterday, is that because you're in church means that you're sick. You're in church because you can't do it yourself. You're in church. So why do people in church pretend like they have it all together and all that? And so my statement was, for those on the external, to be honest, if you listen to this, you are a sinner, saved by grace. Not that you are saved to be perfect. So that means that if other people come to this church and we pretend like we are perfect and then we chase them away, that's the issue. So if people outside of Rowlett Friendship Baptist Church took offense to that, I'm not going to apologize. I'm just going to try to explain that you are a sinner. You have sinned this week. You probably sinned on your way in the church and on outside of the church. So the idea that I said that, if you don't like us talking about sin and helping people with sin, this ain't the church for you, still stands true today.
Right.
If you're perfect and I'm gonna say something, and you don't do anything wrong, this ain't the church for you, because from the pulpit to the back of the church, we all are sinners, saved by grace.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I wanted to get that off my chest. So that if somebody want to tweet, they can tweet that.
Right. Oh wow.
Facebook that or say that. But we are a church full of sinners trying to get our way to what they say. Paul says, work out your own faith. We are working out our stuff. Not that we work to be saved, but we work to get out of ourselves.
Right.
So anyway, I need to get that off my chest.
I'm glad. I'm glad we can help.
But Rowlett Friendship, I know you already know that. I just need some folk who at First Baptist East North Carolina State University Church, trying to get them straight.
Before we go into our topic this morning, I have something for our viewers. Some Sunday mornings we will we will invite you, we will verbally invite you to comment, to ask your questions. But I want to put it out there for those days that we forget to put it out to you. You are always welcome to give your point of view. You are always welcome to ask your questions. We want to know what your opinion is. So if you don't hear us welcome you to the show or ask you for your comments, just know that they are welcome at any and all times, because we don't want to miss anything, and your point of view to us is important. Now, second thing before we get into our topic, last week we were talking about rebuilding after deception. And right at the close of the show, Deacon Robinson put a question out there that we wanted to address this morning. I asked him to send it to me, but I never got it. So he's in here with us today. So Deacon Robinson, we need you to either get a mic, or because we don't want to leave that question hanging. So can we get Deacon Robinson a mic? You remember what your question was, Deacon Robinson? I'm going to go back and look it up. He's going back to look it up. Okay, well, in the meantime, in between times, we last week's question. Okay, all right, yeah, we're waiting on Deacon Robinson, y'all. It ain't us, it's Deacon Robinson.
Because I know you want. It's up on the screen.
It's on the screen. There it is, Robinson, on the screen.
Oh, it's not it. Sorry.
Oh, that ain't it.
I can't see that. That blue.
That blue got me too. Did you think the government I cannot see that.
Oh, that's your question.
Oh, yeah. Okay, get your mic, Rob. See?
Okay, so the question from last week, was more so of a statement. It said many black churches and people are taking a break. And it said, believe it or not, some would say it feels good to sit back and watch white people lose it for a change and behave like criminals and thugs on live TV.
Repost that.
You know, and when you was reading, I remember what we was saying. It says that I wouldn't say. Now I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get in trouble behind Deacon Robinson's statement. Is that we saw the realness of them. You know, we know white supremacists are always behind the clouds. They always hid their faces with hoodies, and so they've always been there. And what we saw with this last 2 years of Donald Trump's presidency is that they were emboldened. I mean, these guys, they have on masks. They weren't afraid of anything. They were really being bold because they really thought the president had their back.
Yeah.
They really thought that when it's all said and done, well, Trump got our back and he's going to be president forever. They put all the eggs in a basket that was they put it in a wet paper bag.
Basket with a hole in it.
It was just wet, and they put all the eggs in there. You know, I was always growing up, you know, hate when it rained when they had to get my grandma from with groceries because you had to hold the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And they put all the eggs in this old raggedy tore up bag, and Trump under the pretense that he was going to be president. So they just was really exposing themselves to who they really are. And I heard somebody say this, what the last 2 years of Trump presidency told us is we've actually got a chance to know who the racists were. They were emboldened. They took off their masks. They did all this stuff. And so you saw them in West Virginia. You saw them in Louisville. You saw them in North Carolina. You saw them, and they were out there boldly running on people and speaking boldly. So yeah, Rob, it's good to see that Americans really see that we do have issues with this idea that we've overcome and we've arrived. And it's just, I mean, white America will let you think that, that's behind us. But I've heard more the last year that I didn't realize it was that bad. So we saw black men getting killed on TV. That was one part of it. But when you saw angry white men and women storming the Capitol, it brought a new light to it. So I wouldn't necessarily expect and look at it, but I think it added an extra point to it. I think when Rob mentioned this last week, that's what I think about when he said it. Says that, man, if you are white in America and you thought that we had really got to a point that we were okay, you saw what happened then, and you saw all the threats, all the different things that took place this last week with just the idea of Trump had us to leave. The idea that you go place and you see these big billboards that says, God bless Trump, and Trump is the real president. And you see, not necessarily in a yard sign, but these are, 50 by 20 billboard signs that says that he is still president. And then to have a statement that says, God bless Trump and help Trump, or something to that extent. It says that we put more of our eggs into a man. But what it did was it showed us where we still stand in a good percentage of white America.
We was having this conversation, me and Butcher Boy last week, and the consensus that we came through is that if people were wondering why black men are getting killed in the street, the last 4 years have showed us why. Exactly why. Because we got a chance to see exactly what's thought of us in America.
Well, go ahead, Smith.
No, black people have not really had a history of just taking over and stirring up things. White people have always had, I'm not trying to talk about all of them, but they've always had a history of acting like that.
Yes.
We just have the means to show it.
Right.
In the past, you couldn't see it, but they've always did that. Everywhere they've gone, they've stormed in and taken over. They came to the Native Indians. They took that over. They went and got us. They took that over.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. And so now it's open for the public to see because we have the means. Everybody can be a paparazzi. Everybody can see it.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times black people do feel like, okay, here you go. That's the real you. Here it is. It's real you. If I'm going to make happen what I want to make happen, and I'm going to take it over, I'm going to take it. That's the thing that they've been doing for years. Not all, but a lot.
Yeah. A good percentage of people.
A good percentage. I mean, because, out there, Pastor, you saw the military, church folks, you name it. Teachers from every walk of life. Yeah.
Major business owners. This ain't like, mom and pop business. These are major business owners. Taking the boldness of it, though. That's why I keep thinking the boldness of it. And what Smith says is that in the past, they threw the rock and hid their hand.
Right.
They can be in the darkness and do all that, but it was on full display for the world to see where we are. And the thing about it is, when they start looking at this idea this last week with the National Guards, they had to send some guys home
from the National Guard.
From the National Guards because of their background. Not that your cousin, your 14 cousin on your mama's side, this and that. You did no,
because of you.
Because you had some recent affiliation with some people who are of questionable character.
Yeah.
That with the white supremacy, and so if it's in the National Guard, you don't think it's in the local sheriff department?
It's everywhere.
The local police department, the local state. If you start looking at that the National Guard, the military, you have to be screened for a lot of things, and as you go through.
But you're not screened for racism.
Exactly. You would say you can screen for a lot of stuff, but we just, hey, you come in, you volunteer, we do this, and so you're there. So anyway, I mean that's a deep question, because I think we were, to Rob's point, I think we can expect and say, see, look, I mean, I don't have to say anymore. Here's the proof in the pudding is the responses.
Yeah. Well, okay, before we get too far. And talk about last week's topic. This week's topic is governing by faith and not fear. Now let's clear up this governing first. Governing, I know when you hear that you may think that well, I'm not a government official. I don't run the government. But anything that you are a steward over, you are the governing body for that. I don't care if it's what school your child go to, or what church you go to, or how often you go to church. If you make those choices, you are the governing body of that. So our topic is governing by faith and not fear. I first noticed it after 9/11. It seems like our federal government operates with us in fear now. It's like they want to scare us straight, or keep us in line through fear. Is this what's going on, or is it just me, Rick?
I don't know,
Yes, you
man.
do. You know.
I
You
have
got all the answers.
I have no idea if it's just you or there's a bunch of people who feel like you.
Okay.
I think that fear is something that you have to allow to happen to you.
I agree.
In the Bible, when Paul tells Timothy, God did not give you the spirit of fear, but
Right.
of sound mind. I think when you have sound mind, you realize, I was always told that fear means false evidence appearing real. So a lot of times when some of these people, they were radicalized and they believed the lie. They believed that the Democrats were Satan worshipers and that they were child traffickers and all that. And they had let the fear get the best of them. If y'all don't stop them, they're going to take over you. They're going to stop you from doing this. They're going to stop your Second Amendments. They're going to stop. So fear drives a lot of people.
Yeah.
The way that you govern by faith, I think, first of all, faith has to be something that you work out, that you have with God. Some of these people, they were in church, but like I say, if you're in church, that doesn't mean you had good sense.
That's true. That's true.
Just because you're an attorney don't mean that you really got good sense. Just because you're a lawyer or you're a sheriff or you're a mayor don't mean you got good sense. But because that's just your title, your character has to come into play when we start talking
At
about
some point.
At some point. And so I think that false evidence appearing real, you have to know what fear is and you have to be able to conquer it by faith.
I think our government got caught up in Iraq because they took every
What you talking about?
National Guard from the East Coast and piled them into D.C. for the inauguration.
Well, not every.
Well, okay, I bet it wasn't. I bet it
More
wasn't.
than Iraq and
No, I said on the East Coast. It was on the East Coast.
Okay, all right.
And pile them all into D.C. But like you were saying, and, when you get caught up in your fears, now they took the National Guard, the ones supposed to be protecting us, and piled them all in the basement of a parking lot.
Man, they were scared. That's fear.
Well,
Yeah, they just got through being locked up in a room with people beating on the door.
I get that. I get that.
And my issue is really not that. My issue is that it was based upon the FBI saying, here's some credible theories. But the same FBI department also said for the last 3 years, the white supremacist is becoming a credible threat.
Yeah, they've been saying that all the time.
Not just in the South, but it's growing population in the West and in the sections that are in the North. So FBI for the last 3 years have said this, and your response to that has been nothing. But the moment, how they say this, that I won't offend people. The moment it crossed over from being a threat to just blacks and the threats to blacks and white, because when they went into that place, they wasn't looking just for, and this is again the same groups who are they were out for blood, period. And so once the threat became above just what the threat for blacks, it became now a national issue. But that's always been an issue. This group has always been concerned. This group who does not look as government for the people, they look at it as a hindrance to them being in charge. And so I wasn't so much about them doing that to DC because I want to protect democracy. As much as I do complain about some stuff in America, I don't want to live no place else. I know people say I want to go. There's no other place I can live as free as I am in America. Now, I know there are some limitations to that. There are some consequences to that. But there's no other place in the world that I can live the way I live in America.
That's true.
And that's, you can Switzerland and all that they have. Switzerland, you don't think it's racism in Switzerland?
Oh, yeah.
You go to Switzerland and look, what I'm trying to say is that the freedoms that we have here, even in Switzerland, there's some control by the government. I keep saying Switzerland because that's the most neutralist country in the world, so they don't pick any side, they just Switzerland. And so, but even in there, if I was to live there'll still be some hindrances to it. So I wouldn't want to live in any place other than America.
Oh, yeah.
But America sometimes make me sick.
I know. And if you've been military, so you've got a chance to see some of these other places around the world.
Yeah.
I have too. Trust and believe. I think every American before the age of 8 need to get a trip outside of the country, and then they will appreciate
what he just said. Because if you've never been outside of the country, you really don't, you just don't get it.
Me and Reverend Johnson, we've had this probably for like last 8 years. We keep saying we want, because we both spent time in Spain. Spain is beautiful. It's wonderful. The people there are friendly. Great place to visit if I want to stay.
Yeah.
And if I had a bunch of money, if I was a billionaire, millionaire, I'll go there. But it was a great place to visit and all that. But when that 8-10 days over, it's time to come back
it's
home.
time to go. It's ready to go. Ready to go.
And so
Yeah.
in most of the places we've been, you know, to the islands, to all these different places. I mean, we was in Jamaica this year, and great place, had a great time, outstanding. But when our 8 days was over, it was good to come back to home. So.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so how does this transfer from government reality to Christian reality? Are we falling under the same stuff? Are we falling under the same traps?
Paul did a great job explaining this in Romans 13. I know the Old Testament, because it was Israel kept going on to different things, but Paul ties it back to how God treated them. He says that God is supreme, but in his supremacy, he gives us the ability to govern ourselves as mankind. And we don't do a good job of that, because when God was saying that, we had this idea of separation of state and church. It was never intended for it to be separation of state and church. What happened was the church was trying to dictate everything. You should have this, only this religion, only this thing. And so America, with their idea of separation of state and church, was the government would not dictate what denomination you would be. We have taken it to be that we govern here and the church govern here. And so on both sides, the church don't have anything to do with government, and the government don't have to do anything with church. But now I know we live in a political society now that everybody wants a line between Republicans and Democrats, but the idea was the influence of the government was the church was the influence on them instead of the government being influenced on the church. And now they want to have more influence on the church, what we will say and won't say. And that's my biggest concern, is that the church has been, I mean, we said this for the last, I think since we came into this, is that I keep looking for the church to say something. The church should be about reconciliation. We should be supporting Biden, and regardless of if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, we should come together and heal the country. That should be our whole goal, is how do we get back together? We are so separated by politics that even the churches can't even come together.
Yeah. It's, I wonder, how do we keep Christians from getting caught up in the fear factor? No, I'll take that back. How do we stop Christians from getting caught up in the fear getting the best of you? Because I'm not saying live life recklessly. But if you look at the numbers, all right, since Thanksgiving, we have not had one day where there was less than 1,500 new cases. Not one day. So I looked the numbers up, and North Texas has 7.5 million people in it. Okay. At 1,500 a day, that's 4,500 a month. How many months? Well, what I'm saying is, we're going to get it. So the smart thing to do is to get the vaccine.
We going to get what?
The numbers say. No, I'm talking pure numbers.
Dude, you sound like you operating in fear. You're like, we going to get it. We going to get it.
All I'm saying is, you can get scared if you want to. You can live in fear if you want to. But the sheer numbers say it's only a matter of time.
Wow.
Think about it. Okay, all last week, I looked at it every day last week, and we had every day 2,000 plus, 5,000 plus in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It's only 7.5 million of us. The numbers say that it's just time. It's just a matter of time. So, you may as well start. I'm not saying live recklessly. I'm not saying don't mask. I'm not saying don't wash your hands. What I'm saying is live by faith, not by fear. That's what I'm saying. Govern yourself by faith, not by fear. You go to the grocery store. In my point of view, I think the grocery store is the most dangerous place in the world now. Everybody goes to the grocery store. You think if you go get tested and they test you positive, that you gonna stop going to the grocery store? It ain't gonna happen. So my question is...
So if you got tested positive, you wouldn't shut in, you'd go to the grocery store?
Okay.
I'm just asking.
No,
you
okay.
say everybody go to the grocery
Look
store.
at it this way.
You say if you think you got positive, you think you ain't going to go to the grocery store. I'm just asking, would you go to the grocery store if you were tested positive?
I don't go to the grocery store negative.
No.
My wife does that, but what I'm saying
I'm saying, period.
That's not my point.
Period. Both of y'all would have to be locked in.
Okay,
but would you go anyway?
But look at it this way. Today is my grocery day. But also today, I'm going by to get my corona test. I go by, I get tested. Okay, I don't know the results of my test for a little, but at the best, 48 hours. I leave there and I go to the grocery store.
Now they can do it in 15 minutes now.
Okay.
But it's kind of painful.
Some of them.
It's kind of painful.
Yeah, it's a little bit more painful. But the average testing site, you're looking at minimum 48 hours.
Yeah.
So I leave my testing site and I go to the grocery store and get my groceries. I come back home. 2 days later, I found out I was positive. I was positive at the grocery store.
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Get your mic.
Just talk louder. Go ahead.
Okay.
I agree with you because I understand what you're saying.
Robinson agreed with Edison.
I do, because people are not playing by the rules.
No, they're not.
There are a lot of people that are being reckless saying, hey, if I got the virus, I know a ton of people who don't have symptoms, but they tested positive. And they're still out and about doing
Yes.
And I know a ton of people who have symptoms out and about, and they don't have anybody to do all this running around for them, so they still say, as long as I got my mask on and I stay away from people, I'm going out. You got people that's doing that. So I understand what you're saying. I mean, I'm not going to act like that's not what's taking place. And so, yeah, you put a ton of people at risk. Does everybody do that? No, but does a great deal do that? Heck yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, because I would say this, and this is something that we've been doing this, and I would say we, but it's been out there. It's no secret or anything that taking your temperature is not a sure sign whether you have it or not. You can have perfect temperature, perfect health, and walk around with
Positive.
the virus and actually be able to spread it. And so, what was said is, Robinson was like, nobody's playing. I mean, everybody's not playing with the same rules.
Exactly.
And some people have been, I got it. I'm just gonna go out there. I'm a single guy, and I'm gonna wear my mask, because I gotta go to the grocery store, because I don't have, my family is in Connecticut, and I'm here, and I don't know anybody, so I still gotta go. So I'm gonna put my gloves on. I'm gonna put my mask on, and the mask does help, because the mask prevents you from spreading it.
Right.
It doesn't prevent you from catching it. But it prevents you from spreading it. So I get that piece, and so but what if you go in there and while you're in your car, you don't. I mean, you go out there and touch some cans, and we know it stays on aluminum a little bit longer than anything else, and somebody touched that. So you're right. Nobody's playing with the. I mean, I went to Home Depot a couple of times, and I had my mask on. This person didn't, and everybody looked like that was crazy. But you have people constantly. We were going somewhere, and everybody who walked in didn't have no mask on. People walk in the restaurant with no mask on, and in the restaurant, people are afraid to even approach them, because you got young kids or whatever being hostess. A grown big man coming in with no mask on.
They ain't gonna say a word
to him, because the sign, the idea says that. So, and then the Patriots there won't say anything. But if you come beside me and you got a mask on, we got issues. And so,
I started. At least I tried the Inside a Ride. It's Monday. I walked inside.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute. Okay, maybe I didn't say that right. Okay, maybe I didn't say that right.
Wow.
Maybe I didn't say it right. Okay, I pull up in the 7-Eleven to go in and get me a water or whatever it was I was going in there to get. This guy pulls up next to me. He's got the big 4-wheel drive truck. He's, he had the look. I'm gonna say it. He had the trunk look. He had it.
He had the trunk look.
He had that trunk look. You know the one that is. You expect him to say hee-haw anytime. At any rate, I walk in the store. No, he walked in before I did.
Yeah.
And he got a mask on. Signs all over the door. Mask required. Mm-hmm. So I walk in. So I asked the clerk. Again, a young adult. I said, "You're not gonna put him out?" and he turns back around and look at me like I'm crazy. I said, "So okay." So I told him, I said, "What I need y'all to do is either take the signs down or tell the man to leave."
Do you realize it's not mandatory for you to wear a mask?
Okay, but an individual business can refuse.
Yeah, they can refuse
service.
But their whole point is that it's not that's why you notice Biden put it in as executive order that on any government property, you will wear a mask. And he says what? I hope that the states
do the same thing.
California, New York, and I think California, New York, and Michigan has made it mandatory in the state. Texas hadn't. It's still, he says that you should, but it's not mandatory. So businesses, I mean, I'm with you. If I own a business and it's mandatory, you wear your mask, but it's not mandatory for you to wear your mask.
Yeah, I know that.
And so when you're not playing against the rules, but again, this idea of this virus and it's in history, you know, I'm in history. This is the most politicized virus of all time.
Yes.
It has never been a time in our history that something catastrophic has been labeled as Republicans against Democrats. And you'll see it. Majority of the Republicans who follow Trump don't want to wear a mask. You see them in groups of people talking, not wearing masks.
They actually
so that
picking it. They are picking with it.
When they raided into the building into Congress, the Republicans were sitting they were isolated in this downstairs. They refused to wear a mask. So half the room had masks, half didn't. Republicans didn't wear a mask, and the Democrats did.
Right.
They're in a building.
And they were trying to give them masks. They didn't even want them. They didn't even want
They're trying to prove a point that, what's the point you're trying to prove that I'm bigger than the virus? You realize folks still dying from the virus?
Yes.
Folks still getting sick. Do you know California has no beds? LA has no beds available. So if there's a catastrophic event that you would have to put sick people out in the street because you have no beds to take care of people, and we walking around here thinking that I'm tougher than them. I have my shots. I have both my shots. I'm fully ready to go. But you know, every time I go somewhere, I got my mask on. When I went pick up donuts, I got my mask on now. People are going to say, why are you having your mask on now? Because it's hard for me to talk.
Right. Okay, we got to take a break, y'all. We done run up on our 30 minutes, and we don't have a clock this morning, so we don't know what we're doing. But we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hold on, we know what we're doing. We just was ignoring the clock.
Well, I'm trying to. They don't know that we can see it. All right. Welcome back. I want to give a shout out to all of you that chose to give us a comment this morning. Sister McKinley, Butcher Boyd, Darius Walker. We see your comments, but this is one that we got to talk about. Elijah Peterson. If y'all can read Elijah Peterson's comment. All right, here we go. It says, 7-Eleven employees, we ain't gonna kick him out. We ain't cleaned the store in 6 months anyway, LOL. Anybody else think these stores are not clean like they should be? And not only 7-Eleven, any other store, this is for our viewers. Give us a shout out for a place that you have gone into and you just didn't think it was clean. Because we're talking about living by faith.
Oh, I can. It's
not by fear.
It's not a place we ain't going because Sister McKinley ain't playing that. So. I know. Like when we travel, it's gonna be a QT because we know QT cleans every 45 minutes.
Right.
So we not stopping at no mom and pop. Look here, we'll hold it till we get.
Oh yeah. No.
And then locally, I want to give them a shout out, but the Lakewood Cafe, we go there.
They clean constantly.
We know they clean. And we go there so much. We know them now, so they know us. So we go to familiar places. So we haven't ventured out. We go there. I think we go to Applebee's or something like that. But the place we go to, because we limit ourselves, we know. But I'm quite sure there are some places like we'll go to Walmart or we go to Kroger's. Look here, we go to what we call our Kroger's and our Walmart. So we don't even venture out to places we don't. No, but there are places that I'm quite sure that they don't. Because they don't even, Anyway, I want
the sister Judge McKinley say, "Oh yeah, at the beginning they were wiping everything down. Now the spray bottle is available for you to do it. Now that's true. That's true. A good point because
I've seen that.
When the pandemic first started, and when you go in Walmart, they had this big old spray thing, and they were spraying down all the things. Now when you go in there, they got the little spray bottle over to the right for you to get. And sometimes you didn't even got no paper towels to wipe it with. Yeah. So she's exactly right.
She's dead right
with that. She's dead right with that. And that happened in Walmart. It happened in Kroger's. I mean, most of those chains like that, at the beginning, they were spraying everything down, wiping their head, guys outside. Now you go in there, you get the spray. They have the little tissues that you pull out.
Well, the little
that you can wipe down. Yeah.
Because I remember at Tom Things, they had a spot that these have been cleaned, these haven't.
Exactly. Now you just go get a basket.
Get your own basket.
We still try to do lunch on Sundays after church. The little group the three couples, me, the Edisons, the Hineses, and the Rays.
You said three couples, and you said we. Me, the Edisons, like you.
I'm a couple.
Like it's another for the Edison.
It's another side.
When you say we, it's like
okay.
We and
two or more is we. Anyway, but this is what we do when we go there.
3 other couples.
Three other couples. Did I say other? Okay, all right. It's 3 of us. It's 6 of us. How about that? 3 couples. Okay. It's 6 of us. We've been hanging together since the beginning. But what we do is when we go in, we got our own stuff. We got our own cleaning supplies. But they, like you and Sister Mac do, y'all, we stay at the same places. We don't venture out. We got our little 3-4 restaurants that we go to, and we eat at one of them. Okay, but we walk in, we start at the door on our way in. Everybody got the gloves on, everybody got the wipes on, and we wipe from the front door all the way to our table, clean our table down, and then wipe our way out. But at first a few people was looking at us.
Wait, hold on. Let me. Is that out of fear?
Why you looking at me? I don't know. Why you turn around and look at me?
I get it.
You the question. Okay. I don't know.
I am not afraid, but there is fear within the group. Yes, it's fear. I don't need a line.
No, because I would say no. This is why I say it's. There's fear and there's conscience.
Okay.
God said we should deal within our society as wise as a serpent, as soft as a dove. So the idea is that a serpent lives his life by not. I mean, we don't think they're smart, but they do the same thing all the time. And so would you call that fear, or you call that just being
Cautious.
I think it's cautious.
Because we will make sure that we don't run and do things that are crazy.
Exactly.
So the reason I ask that question is that I want me, because the idea of fear, I mean, there's a fine line to being fearful of something, but being cautious of something. Cautious of something. So I'm not going to run into, and I'm gonna say a small store that has one person at the desk and nobody else is in there.
They ain't cleaning.
They got a male and female bathroom, and they constantly got turnover in that bathroom.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, we ain't.
Yeah.
We ain't going there.
No, because they ain't being clean.
And that goes. That didn't just happen now. We traveled to we was traveling to Virginia. From here, we driving. We was gonna stop somewhere, and we didn't plan the trip, so we just stopped. And we went to this place, and it was like one of those, motels off the road. And we looked at it and said, no, I'd rather take my chance driving some more than stopping there. That's not the fear. That's the idea that it was a roach motel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so the idea is that we and again, I use that thought that says that some people say, oh, you're being fearful. No, that's being ideal. It says that
being cautious.
I want to make sure that I know that where I'm sitting at, somebody else didn't do that. I'm not fearful, but I want to be, I want to be cautious. It's almost like saying that, man, I want to be protected. Not that I'm fearful, but I want to be protected when I do those.
At least as best as I can. I'm going to do my part.
Because people say, why you on a gun? You fearful? No, I just want to be protected. As somebody walk into my house, now, this is for you gun lovers. I'm not fearful at all. But if somebody come in my house with a gun, I want to be on the same level.
Equally prepared.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I want to try to throw you on a bus.
No, I get what you're saying. I get
the point of saying that, because somebody would say, well, you act not, man, you watch from the door to the thing. Man, you just scared of everything. No, I'm just
not scared.
It's just the idea that, because you said, I know that X number of people are catching this virus every day.
Yes.
And some people have it and don't know they have it. So I want to make sure that I'm protecting myself for those who, not on purposely walking around with the virus, but because they didn't know they had it.
They didn't know.
I want to, me personally, I keep saying I got the shot, so I'm 96% protected.
Well,
Sister McKinley said there's a such thing as healthy fear. I agree with you, Sister Mac. That's just called common sense.
Counselor with the proper words.
Yeah. I mean, that's just common sense. And I think we do it not out of I'm scared fear, but there's some underlying conditions within the group, and we know that we need to do this to protect them.
Common sense.
Common sense. Yeah, common sense.
I ain't gonna go jump in a cage with a lion.
I'll run into a fire without a hose. I mean, it's just something. It's just something.
I ain't gonna run into a fire with a hose.
But at least,
fire with a hose. Correct.
They pay folks to do that. Now, if my kid is in there, it's the only thing. My kid. I'm down 911 and say, hey, fire.
Fire, come fight this fire. Okay. The Bible. It was anticipated that fear was going to be an issue for us. Because in the Bible, the phrase, fear not, is listed 365 times.
Fear for every day. Fear not.
One for each day.
Yeah.
One for each fear, if you want to say. So it is obvious that that God knew that we had this issue. And we was going to have this issue. And it probably wasn't going to go away. So what we're talking now is about living through faith and not fear. This is not easy for any of us. All of us is fearfully afraid of something. Now, me, it's snakes. You want me to hurt you? It can be a rubber snake. It don't make no difference. And I can know it's a rubber snake. All I'm saying is, if you don't want to get something ran over, do not mess with me and a snake.
So I'm glad you told me that. So when you messing with me.
So if I run over you, it's his fault. It's his fault. So the Bible is telling us that this is something that we got to deal with. Or it wouldn't have listed it so many times.
you hit it. Everybody is fearful of something. And there's a person probably say, I can't believe that you fear. And there's some people says, I'm afraid of this. I know people who are afraid of spiders. I think a spider, you can go up there and smack the spider.
Right.
But they're what is it, arachnophobia? And so there's all kind of phobia. I mean, people of heights, of bridges, of water, of this and this.
Everybody.
Everybody has a phobia.
Yeah.
And so in that built into us is that, and what God talks about a lot is, don't let fear become your God.
Right. Don't let it run you. Don't let it rule you. Don't let it push you around. Let's see what Isaiah said. Isaiah said, "For I, the Lord, thy God, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help you." And through about there's 364 more of them. You ought to be able to find one. You ought to be able to find one that matches your fear. Well, find one fear not that can bring you home. Because I'm gonna tell you, I can't watch snakes on TV.
What?
Like, you know how they had them boys down there catching them snakes down that overrun of them pythons down at the
In Florida.
I can't watch it.
What?
I cannot watch it.
George can't even walk in the room and see it on the TV.
I can't watch it on TV either.
Now, I hate...
My skin starts crawling.
Me and snakes are on you stay your area, I stay my area.
Oh,
type of
man, we used to play with snakes, man, back at home in Arkansas.
See, in my point of view, there's something wrong with
I have a healthy distance of snakes. I have a healthy fear, but I have a healthy distance of snakes.
Yeah.
You bigger than a snake.
And again, I can deal with everything else. I can deal with anything. I probably some other stuff, but me, it's not that I'm gonna run away from it, but it. You know how some people just hit a snake one time? I'm hitting it.
I'm not hitting it.
Until it becomes part of the dirt.
In order to hit a snake, you got to get so close to it. It ain't happening.
No, I deal with it, but you know how people always say, oh, it's a friendly snake and it's a good snake?
Yeah.
Some snakes are good to have because they get rid of other snakes and all that. They get a rose. I don't know. I have never ran into a good snake that was alive. So every good thing I saw was dead. So
all right, homeboy, you should let it go hit a python. He just let it go in the house and he crawl around. We be in there. Yeah,
you got small kids in there.
You could pick him up. Yeah, you could pick him up and put him around your neck and hold him, and he wouldn't do nothing. Yeah, they put him back in the cage. We watch him eat.
Like you just said,
that's a friendly snake.
I'm not a.
You ain't never seen a friendly snake, man.
I ain't never seen a snake pass a flash. Because I'm telling you, I have to go. I cannot physically make myself stand still if a snake is around. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm just telling you.
Okay. We'll get off this topic of snake. Okay, but watch this. This had to be Joya was maybe 4 years old. We was living in Mesquite, and Joya had left something in her mama's car. Sunday morning, she went to the car, and she came back in the house, and she was like, she went and got her stuff. She said, "Dad, it's a snake in the garage." Calm, cool, and collective. I'm thinking to myself, oh Lord. She didn't went out there, just came in. I'm thinking, I don't know the snake.
Now I gotta deal with it, yeah.
I gotta go do all that stuff. I went out there and I heard it ruffling. I said, oh, what is this snake? This snake. And it got caught up on the glue stick. I said, ooh, you a dead snake now.
Yeah.
But the fact that the thought she was, and probably now, like I said, she's 3-4 years old. She just came up, smelled like, hey Dad, it's a snake in the garage. And went about her little bit, maybe she was 5, just walked upstairs like it wasn't nothing. I was like, man, I gotta go deal with this snake. I don't know what is that. She didn't tell where it was located.
Okay. Going to look for a snake is not a good thing, is it?
And the fact that this whole point smell, Joy was like, I was in the kitchen. Hey Dad, it's a snake in the garage, and
just
she
like
didn't run back in the house. She just walked. She had a little book or something. She got it. Dad, it's a snake in the garage. Just kind of walked by me, went up the stairs. Ain't looked back. Ain't said nothing. It's like, child, I gotta go find this snake. So anyway, so some folk, if that had been her mama,
you mean everything. Everybody's fearful of something.
She would jump in the car, drove up the street and called me.
What's yours? You ain't scared of nothing.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Shucks. I don't know. I don't know whether I'm scared of them. I mean, I might be cautious of of spiders because I've been bit by one before. I'm not necessarily scared of them, but every time I see one, I kill it.
That's revenge. That's revenge, man.
It don't matter how small it is. It don't matter, what it is and stuff and everything. But you have to work against being fearful of stuff.
Yeah.
You got to work against that. And as Christians, we put on the facade that we're not afraid of anything. We just speak it and believe it, and it's done. But even as Christians, there are still things that we're going to be afraid of.
People are afraid to spread the gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah, afraid to witness to people.
People are afraid to say anything to people. People are afraid of kids' parents, so we won't say anything because of this. So fear dominates in more places
than we think.
We don't call it that. We call it passive. Just call it passive
aggressive.
No,
because passive aggressive is that you're still aggressive, but you're not
right.
You're not upfront. But you're passive in what you're doing, and so when we look at this, we all have that piece within us that's passive.
Yeah.
And so this idea of what you said is fear. To be honest, Edison, we're all governed by some type of fear.
Yeah.
Fear of being homeless, fear of being jobless, fear of being by ourselves, fear of being not loved. Fear. I heard somebody say is that I can fall in love with you. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that I fall in love with you and you don't love me.
And you don't love me back.
And so fear drives us in more of our decisions,
than we could ever imagine.
People go to work on time because they fear they're losing their job. But we don't fear? We don't fear God anymore.
We don't fear God like that.
And I say this, is that I'm going to talk about Mesquite Friendship. There was no fear of being on time for Sunday school or on time for church. We had more people standing in the foyer to come in to 8 o'clock or 11 o'clock service than it was for people to start at service. When they opened up the doors, so we had the welcome, we had that stuff, and then after the welcome, we let people in. It took us a good minute to get everybody in that came in after, because there was no fear of being, so I get 15 minutes late. I miss out on a devotion. I miss out on praise and worship. I'll get to work. So I know that's off topic, but fear drives us in anything else. And some people are afraid of being late for work because these people late work all the time, so there's no fear. But I'm trying to say, fear drives us in so many different ways.
I was afraid of my grandmama.
Ooh.
And what kind of fear is that? I mean, because if she told you to do something and you didn't do it, she didn't tell you 2 or 3.
No.
It wasn't no 2 or 3 times.
Wasn't no negotiations.
Just one time, if she told you not to do that, and I would get, back then there wasn't whoopings.
Beat.
They was beating.
Yes, sir.
And I would get a beating for something, and then I once I got a beating from that, I knew not to. I never do that again.
Watch this. You had a preservative fear. Just
save his own life.
Just has the healthy fear. But that's a preservative fear because the idea is I'm preserving my behind, so I'm fearful of what happened.
It wasn't healthy for me. That's
not a healthy. That's a preservative.
And then when I was growing up, it wasn't just us. If me and my partner or some friend was doing something, they would come out and get both of us. And stuff. And so it wasn't like now, because people have a fear of whooping their kids because if you go to school, they're going to call the people on you and stuff. I was dark, so I didn't have no webs on me. My friend was light skinned. She had switch mark down.
No, my kids will tell you that Dad believed in not sparing the rod. Now I didn't hit him in the head with with cups and all that, but I made sure from the chest.
What just happened?
From the chest down to below the buttocks was open.
That's open game.
You really got hit in the face because you ducking and you run into that switch. You run into it, and then they be like, you stand still. They tell you to stand still while they whooping you, but that ain't gonna work.
That's hard.
Yeah,
that's hard.
So I had a fear of that. Yeah, I had a fear of my grandmother.
And that's a great topic because we had that preservative fear. I was writing something this week, and it's not there anymore. I mean, kids are running the school. The kids are
running home.
Running home. Kids,
Yeah.
And we get in a society where we're falling further and further behind the world in the development of our children. And so we have less and less that happen because now parents more want to be friends more than they want to be parents. And they are setting our kids up for failure because when they come into the real work environment, they don't know how to do work because they have never been made to do anything. There's no, I mean, and I hate to sound like some old fudgety guy, but man, the people we are trying to hire to do the job that we need to be done is totally different than the people who are retiring. So you have these people who don't, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. And literally saying, I am not, this is your job. I am not doing that. Well, you won't be long for this job.
Right.
And it's keep reciprocating that same idea that says that, man, I would never go into my job and say something that I ain't doing something.
Yeah, just tell them that you ain't gonna do
And
it.
that hurts my HR say I ain't doing that. I'm thinking to myself, you work in HR. You the reason why people come and talk you to get fired, and you say you're not doing something. So if the people who are watching the hen house not doing what they're supposed to do, then who's coming into the hen house?
Right.
So anyway, that's it.
It's not that we have gotten off topic, y'all.
Yeah.
We have not gotten
We
off
still talk
topic.
about fear.
What we are trying to get you to see is that everybody is fearful of something. And it's to the point to where that the fear is driving us. We have made that fear our God. We're living based on that fear. So what we're saying is,
Hold that thought for a second, Esther, because you just triggered a thought, and we're talking about this next generation. YOLO, you only live once. You only, that's right. You only live once. YOLO. This idea of that says that these kids are not fearful of anything, and these are kids who are doing. I saw this guy on a motorcycle. He was on a wheelie from Military Drive all the way to 80, which is a nice little drive there. And this highway, he's doing a wheelie, and behind him is two other guys videotaping him doing the wheelie, and they going up. I mean, they doing like 60, 70. Man, the idea that you're on a busy highway, it's 635, and you're doing a wheelie, because this idea that man, you only live once, so might probably go. If I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out in the big bang, and so.
But they're just not fearful of that.
Yeah.
They're not fearful of that. The point we're trying to get over here is that if you don't address your fear, not my fear, if you don't address your fear, there's no way that you're ever going to be able to deal with it but you got to be truthful to yourself and just honest and say, okay, this is what my fear is. This is what's driving me. That's the only way that we can govern by faith.
And that's why you said in the Bible, I mean, like you said, fear appears so much because God wants you to seek Him, you know. And it's again, what I was going with this, we'll fear other things, we won't fear God. The wrath of God is something that we're getting less and less of in society. So.
Yeah. But okay, all right, we got a couple minutes left. What you got, Reverend Smith?
I just wanted to say in the Bible, there also are a lot of things that they talk about faith. They talk about by faith, what Abraham did. They talk about those things. And I think what you're taking in to your eyes and to your ears really is what kind of governs you and makes you that. So if you are in the Word, you're reading the Word, you're praying, even though you fear stuff, God will actually give you the courage to kind of get over some of those things. Yeah. If you're operating, and the more you operate by faith, I think that it drives out a lot of the fears and stuff. Now, you may not never get over the fear of snakes. You can pray all day, but you might not never get. You might not never get over. You might not never get over. that. I don't know a scripture to give you.
I want to put this fear. I want to put this out there.
Sound mind.
Yeah, I want to put this out there before we miss it. This Wednesday night.
That's what you're going to say.
This Wednesday night, we are starting back up our virtual Wednesday night Bible study.
And some of the same topics, almost
Right.
to the point of
Yeah, and this particular week, it just happens to be on fear.
Right.
So, if you want to continue the fear conversation, or if you got a fear that didn't get touched on, the Wednesday night podcast that will be starting back up this Wednesday night, you can we invite you to join into that as well. You were gonna say something, Pastor?
that. No, you hit it. You hit
Okay,
it. Because the conversation was going that route, so you hit it.
So Wednesday they're gonna continue the topic.
Well, the topic that they have Wednesday is on fear
It's on
too.
fear. Okay,
Yeah, it's on
that's
fear
good.
too.
I mean,
Yeah.
because somebody got to tell you how to address the fear.
Exactly.
And how to deal with it.
The Bible, right? The Bible study is on fear, or what you shouldn't fear. Or how to handle snakes.
All right.
It's not-
Or spiders. Something.
We gonna see you down to the rattlesnake roundup. You know.
Oh,
they do that
wow.
in Texas.
Yeah.
So they haven't had it in a couple of years. So there's probably a lot of snakes out there now. So
That need rounding up.
They need round up, so you
no,
gonna be a
ain't no
part
need
of
to
that.
send to me. Ain't no need to send to me. Mm-mm.
No, I would do that.
You would?
Yeah.
Well, you going down there? Video.
I would
Let me know how it went for
You say
you.
you can't even see it.
I can't even look at it. Oh,
You asking for a video.
Why video? No, I'm talking about for others.
And I would ask everybody to be a part. I mean, call in, challenge our young adults. We have CYA
Oh yeah.
every other Tuesday.
Every other Tuesday.
Challenge them, be a part of it.
What week are they on now? Are they this week?
They
or-
this week, and so it's every other
So
week.
Tuesday night and Wednesday night this
We'll
week.
have, and I'm not sure what their topics are, but you know, make them afraid of saying something about us showing up and saying, you got some old heads other than myself.
Right.
It's some great conversations we have with the young adults and so.
All right, good deal. We out of time, y'all. Thank you for this the time. Great topic this morning. See you back in 30 minutes in our in-person or online church service. Be sure to join us next week for another great topic. We love you. Be safe.